Mary from the New Hanover County Public Library, and I'm here to talk about some great juvenile fantasy. This first one is A Dragon's Guide to the Care and Feeding of Humans by Lawrence Yep and Joanne Ryder. Now in this one, Miss Drake has a new pet, but it's a human pet. It's Winnie, and they live in San Francisco, and there are all kinds of fun things like extra drawings in here that you will probably enjoy. This is a great classic, especially if you are a little bit too young for Tolkien. You might enjoy this. This is the first in a series. It's called The Book of Three. It's Chronicles of Prydain by Lord Alexander. And Taran the Pig Keeper, he wants to be a hero, but he's a pig keeper. But one of his pigs is an oracle. It tells all kinds of tales, and he will go on an adventure that will last many books. Whales on Stilts by M.T. Anderson. This one is a little bit more of a modern day setting, and it is full of wild and crazy and amazing things because they're the pals in peril. There's Lily, our heroine, whose two best friends are actually superheroes, but she's kind of normal. But nobody except her seems to notice that her mom's new boss, they're all whales on stilts from an alien planet who intend to take over. Will they or won't they? It's up to Lily to save us. Oversea Undersown by Susan Cooper is also beginning of a series. You do want to start with this one. This one is about the three Drew children, and they're all on holiday in Cornwall, and they find a map to the Holy Grail. Charmed Life. Diana Wynne Jones is great, especially if you enjoyed Harry Potter. This was written long before Harry Potter. I would start with Charmed Life. It's more of a standalone book. Now, Cat, who's actually a boy, he's always lived in his sister Gwendolyn's shadow, and everyone thinks she's wonderful. They're both orphans, but when they're taken in by one of the greatest magicians in the world, things change, and you'll have to read it to find out why. Earthsea, A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula Le Guin. This was actually written in 1968. Sparrowhawk is a boy on a small, obscure island. But eventually, he actually becomes Get, the greatest wizard in all of the world, but you'll have to read this. This one is also really interesting. She doesn't talk about it a great deal, but this is actually full of diverse characters, including Sparrowhawk. This is a collection of short stories by E. Nesbit. It's called The Book of Dragons. It was actually written in the 1900s, but there are lots of different amazing stories, and you'll actually catch references to things that inspired future stories. There's a king with a magic book, and a dragon in the post office, and a dragon that comes out of a girl's eye, and an ice dragon at the North Pole. All kinds of wonderful stories are in here. Bedknobs and Broomsticks. The book was written in 1943. You may be more familiar with the 1971 movie starring Angela Lansbury, but they're also turning this into a musical. So it is not a new read, but it is a great read, and you probably ought to read it before it comes out. There's children in England, and World War II is going on, and there are Nazis, but there's also a woman who has a book of spells that she's been learning from, and they have to save the day. And lastly, this one is fairly new. It's We're Not From Here by George Brodkey. Well, I need to start off with So the Earth Blew Up. Well, a lot of people managed to escape, and they had an agreement to go to this other planet, but when they arrived there, the government had changed, and suddenly nobody wants those Earth people. But they've managed to get an agreement where one family can come down as kind of like a test subject to see if this works out. And the Chum have chosen Lon's family. And so if Lon's family can't work with the Chum and the other beings on this planet, what's going to happen to its people? There is no home, there's no Earth to go back to. What are we going to do? So here's some great fantasy fiction to read. Come enjoy this, and come and ask us for other suggestions.